Hello dear listeners, welcome to another Life History channel. I hope you're ready to sleep. Let your shoulders drop and relax now. Tonight, there will be no hot showers, no warm beds, and no cozy home to wake up in. Instead, we are dropping you right into the middle of the Middle Ages as a peasant. Together, we will see exactly how to survive the freezing cold. Before we begin, maybe hit subscribe and tell me where you are right now and what time it is. I love reading comments. Tokyo at 3 a.m, Chicago at midnight, London during a morning journey to work. It's fascinating how we're all present at once. Let's begin. You wake in darkness to the sound of wind howling outside. The cold air touches your face like 1,000 icy fingers. Your breath makes small clouds that disappear into the blackness above you. The straw beneath you crackles as you shift, trying to find warmth. Your body aches from the hard wooden platform you sleep on nightly. The woolen blanket covering you is thin and rough against your skin. You can hear the breathing of your family sleeping nearby in the darkness. Your father snores softly while your mother shifts under her own thin blanket. The cow in the corner of the room breathes deeply and steadily. The animal's warmth helps heat the small space you all share together. Without the cow, you would freeze during these brutal winter nights. You pull the blanket tighter around your shoulders, shivering still despite the effort. The walls are made of wattle and daub packed between wooden frames. Cold air seeps through cracks you cannot see in the darkness now. The thatched roof above keeps out most of the snow falling steadily. You know it is still hours before dawn will come again slowly, but sleep will not return now that you've awakened fully this morning. You lie still waiting for the first signs of light to appear. Your stomach growls with hunger that never fully goes away these days. The harvest was poor this year, and food is scarce for everyone. You try not to think about the emptiness inside you constantly present. You think instead about the work that must be done today regardless. Wood needs to be gathered from the forest if you can find any. The animals must be fed and watered even in this bitter cold. The wind outside grows louder, rattling the shutters covering the small window. You can hear snow hitting the walls like sand thrown against stone. This winter has been the hardest you can remember in your short life. Your fingers and toes are numb even under the blanket covering you. You flex them slowly, trying to bring feeling back into them again. The cold is always there, waiting to creep into your bones deeply. You think about your grandfather who died last winter from the cold. He simply did not wake one morning and his body was frozen. You remember how hard the ground was when they buried him then. You push these dark thoughts away and focus on the present moment. You must survive this winter and help your family survive as well. Each day is a battle against cold and hunger and exhaustion combined. Finally, you see the faintest grey light beginning at the window edges. Dawn is coming, though the sun is hidden behind thick grey clouds. You sit up slowly, feeling your muscles protest the movement made stiffly. You reach for your outer tunic hanging on a peg driven into the wall. The fabric is cold and stiff from the freezing air inside the room. You pull it over your head and smooth it down over your body. Your father stirs and opens his eyes, looking at you in the dimness. He nods and begins to rise from his own sleeping place nearby. Your mother also wakes and starts the daily routine without words spoken. You pull on your leather boots that are worn thin at the soles. The inside is lined with straw to provide some insulation against cold ground. You tie the laces tightly to keep the boots on your feet. Your father opens the door and bitter cold rushes into the room immediately. The wind cuts through your clothing like knives made of ice and air. You step outside into the grey morning light, following him out into the cold. Snow covers everything in a blanket of white that reaches your knees. The world is silent except for the wind whistling through the bare trees. Your breath comes out in great clouds that hang in the air. You walk to the small shed where the chickens are kept huddled together. Their breath has created frost on the inside walls of the wooden structure. You check to see if any eggs have been laid overnight, hopefully. There are no eggs because the hens are too cold to lay anymore. You give them a handful of grain from the dwindling supply stored away. They peck at it hungrily, making small sounds in their throats quietly. You close the shed door tightly to keep the warmth inside as much. Next you check on the pig in its small pen beside the house. The animal is lying in straw piled deep to provide warmth needed desperately. You give the pig some scraps saved from yesterday's meagre meal eaten slowly. The animal eats quickly and looks at you, hoping for more food offered, but there is nothing more to give right now at this moment. Your father has gone to check the cow inside the house still warm. The animal provides milk, though less now during the winter months passing. Every drop of milk is precious and carefully measured and used wisely. You walk toward the forest edge, visible through the falling snow, continuing steadily. You need to find fallen branches for the fire that must burn constantly. Without fire, you will all freeze before spring comes again eventually. The snow is deep and walking is difficult and tiring already this morning. Your legs sink with each step and you must pull them out. Sweat begins to form on your body despite the freezing cold surrounding. The forest is dark and quiet with snow weighing down the branches. You search the ground for any wood that might be dry enough. Most of the fallen branches are buried under snow too deep to see. You find a branch sticking out from a snowdrift and pull it free. The wood is partially frozen but will burn once the fire gets it. You break it into smaller pieces you can carry back to the house. You gather more branches, moving slowly through the deep snow, exhausting you quickly. Your hands are numb and red from handling the frozen wood bare-handed. But you must continue because the fire cannot be allowed to die. After an hour you have an armful of wood to take back home. You turn and begin the difficult walk back through the snow fallen overnight. Your legs ache and your breath comes in gasps from the exertion. Back at the house, your mother has a small fire burning in the hearth. The flames are tiny, but they provide some warmth to the cold room. You add your wood to the pile beside the hearth, carefully stacking it. Your father returns from the village with news of the other families living. 2 children died during the night from cold and sickness combined together fatally. Their families are grieving, but there is no time for long mourning periods. The dead must be buried quickly before the ground freezes even harder than now. You know you might be asked to help dig the graves today. The work is hard, but it must be done for the community. Your mother prepares a thin porridge from oats stored in a covered pot. The portions are small because food must be rationed carefully through winter. You eat slowly, trying to make the meagre meal last longer somehow. The porridge is watery and barely warm, but it fills your stomach somewhat. You scrape the bowl clean with your wooden spoon, not wasting anything at all. Every bit of food matters when supplies are running low, dangerously so. After eating, you go back outside to continue the day's necessary work. You must check the roof to ensure no snow has damaged the thatch. You climb the ladder, leaning against the side of the house carefully. The roof is covered with thick snow that must be cleared before the weight breaks it. You use a wooden rake to pull the snow down onto the ground. The work is cold and dangerous, but it must be done today. Your hands are frozen and your face is numb from the wind blowing. But you continue working because the house must be protected from damage always. Without shelter, you would die within hours in this terrible cold weather. When the roof is cleared, you climb down stiffly and carefully testing each rung. Your father is repairing a hole in the wall where the daub has fallen. He packs new mud mixed with straw into the gap, tightly pressing. The mud will freeze and harden, creating a seal against the wind blowing. This constant maintenance keeps the house livable through the long winter months. Without these repairs, the cold would seep in and kill you all. You help him gather more mud from the area near the animal pens. The ground is frozen hard and you must use a pickaxe to break it. The mud is mixed with straw and animal dung to make it stronger. Your hands are covered in the cold, wet mixture as you work together. The mud freezes on your skin almost immediately when exposed to air. You work quickly to pack it into the walls before it becomes two. By midday the work is done and you return inside to warm yourselves. The fire's grown slightly larger with the wood you gathered this morning. You hold your hands near the flames, feeling the painful tingling as they. Your mother has been spinning wool all morning, creating thread for clothing needed. The spinning wheel turns slowly as she works the foot pedal steadily, rhythmically. The thread will be woven into cloth when enough has been made. You sit near the fire and begin repairing your boots with scraps of leather. The soles are wearing through and need reinforcement before they fail completely. You use an awl to punch holes and thread leather strips through. The work is slow and careful, because mistakes waste precious materials available now. Every scrap of leather must be used efficiently, and nothing can be wasted. You concentrate on making each stitch tight and strong to last longer. Your sister works beside you, carding wool to prepare it for spinning next. She's younger than you, and her hands are small and cold. She works slowly but steadily, contributing to the family's survival as she can. The afternoon passes with everyone working on tasks that need doing always constantly. There is no rest because winter demands constant effort to survive it safely. You must work or die, and there is no middle ground between. As the light begins to fade, your father goes out to check the animals. You go with him carrying a small amount of grain for the chickens. The wind has died down, but the cold remains bitter and biting still. The chickens are huddled together in a tight group, conserving their body heat. You scatter the grain, and they peck at it weakly without much energy. You worry that some may not survive this winter's harsh conditions, continuing. The pig is also weak and barely moving when you check on it. The animal's breath comes out in small clouds that freeze immediately in the air. You add more straw to its pen, hoping to keep it warm enough. The cow inside the house is doing better with the warmth provided there. Your father milks her, and the milk comes slowly in a thin stream. The bucket holds only a small amount, but it is something to drink. Back inside, your mother has prepared a soup from the milk and some turnips. The soup is thin and barely has any flavour at all to it. But it is warm, and that is what matters most right now. You eat the soup slowly, letting the warmth spread through your body gradually. The heat feels wonderful after the cold of the day working outside constantly. You savour each spoonful, knowing it may be the last food until tomorrow. After eating, you sit by the fire and try to warm yourself completely. Your clothes are damp from sweat and snow, and they steam near the heat. The smell of wet wool and smoke fills the small room entirely. Your father tells stories of previous winters he has survived before this one. He speaks of times when the snow was even deeper and lasted longer. You listen and take comfort in knowing others have survived such conditions. The stories remind you that this winter will eventually end, as all winters do. Spring will come again, bringing warmth and new growth to the frozen land. But that seems impossibly far away from where you sit now in cold. As darkness falls completely, the family prepares for another long, cold night ahead. You bank the fire carefully to keep it burning slowly through the darkness. Each piece of wood must last as long as possible until morning. You lie down on your sleeping platform and pull the thin blanket over you. The cow's warmth helps, but the cold still seeps in from every direction. You curl into a tight ball, trying to conserve your body's heat. You can hear the wind picking up again outside the walls around you. Snow begins to fall again, tapping against the roof and walls softly. You close your eyes and try to sleep despite the cold and hunger. Tomorrow will bring more of the same work and cold and hunger endured, but you will wake and you will work and you will survive another day. This is the rhythm of winter in the village where you live. You think about spring and the warmth that will eventually return here again. You imagine the fields green and the animals healthy and food plentiful once more. These thoughts comfort you as you drift towards sleep, finally coming at last. The darkness is complete and the cold is absolute, but you are alive. Your family is alive and together in this small, warm space you share. This is enough for now, and you're grateful for it deeply. Sleep comes in waves, bringing dreams of warmer times you remember from before. You dream of summer fields and harvest time and food aplenty for everyone. The dreams are pleasant and help you forget the cold temporarily while resting. But even in sleep, your body knows the cold is there waiting patiently. You shift and pull the blanket tighter without fully waking from the dreams. Your breath continues to make small clouds in the darkness above you. The night stretches on endlessly as winter nights always do in this place. Hours pass slowly while the family sleeps together in the darkness here. The cow's breathing and the crackling fire are the only sounds heard. Outside, the wind howls and the snow falls steadily, adding to the drifts. The world is frozen and white and empty of any life visible anywhere. Only inside these small houses does life persist stubbornly against the cold. You wake once in the deepest part of the night, feeling the cold intensely. You add a piece of wood to the fire from the pile nearby. The flames grow slightly, and you feel a little warmth on your face. You return to your sleeping place and lie down again, pulling the blanket close. Sleep returns slowly as you listen to the familiar sounds around you. The night continues its slow passage toward the dawn that will eventually come. Your dreams shift and change, showing you scenes from the previous summer remembered. You see yourself working in the fields under the warm sun shining brightly. The memory feels distant, like something that happened to someone else entirely. You dream of the harvest festival when there was dancing and music played. Everyone in the village was happy and well fed and celebrating together joyfully. That world seems impossibly far from the frozen reality you inhabit now. But the dreams fade and you sink into deeper sleep without dreams at all. Your body rests as much as it can despite the cold surrounding you. The hours pass and slowly the darkness begins to lighten at the edges. Dawn is approaching, bringing another day of survival and work to be done. You will wake soon and begin the routine again as you must. This is your life in the frozen depths of a medieval winter. You wake again to the same grey light filtering through the shutters. The cold has deepened overnight, and frost covers the inside walls now. Your breath is visible in thick clouds that hang in the still air. Your father is already awake and stirring the fire back to life carefully. He adds small twigs first and then larger pieces as the flames grow. The fire is the heart of survival and must be tended constantly always. You sit up slowly, feeling every muscle protest the movement made stiffly. Your joints ache from the cold that has settled deep into them overnight. You flex your fingers, trying to work, feeling back into them gradually. Your mother rises and immediately begins her morning tasks without pause or complaint. She checks the milk from yesterday to see if it is frozen solid. The liquid has a thin layer of ice on top that she breaks. You stand and pull on your outer layers of clothing one by one. Each piece is cold and damp from the moisture in the air freezing. You shiver as the fabric touches your skin, sending chills through your body. Your sister coughs in her sleep and the sound is harsh and wet. She has been sick for 3 days now and grows weaker each day. Your mother looks at her with worry, visible in her eyes, clearly shown. There is no medicine to give and no healer who can help right now. The healer lives 3 villages away and the snow is too deep to travel. You can only keep your sister warm and pray she will recover soon. Your father tells you that today you must go to the forest again. The wood supply is running dangerously low despite yesterday's gathering done carefully. You nod and prepare yourself for the cold work ahead of you. You wrap a strip of cloth around your face to protect it from the wind. The cloth is rough and smells of smoke from hanging near the fire. It helps, but your face still feels the cold seeping through the fabric. Before leaving, you check on the animals kept in and near the house. The chickens are barely moving in their shed, huddled together tightly for warmth. One hen is lying on her side and does not respond when touched. You pick up the dead hen and show it to your father silently. He nods and takes it from you to prepare for eating later today. Nothing can be wasted even when the animal dies from cold or sickness. The pig is still alive but barely moving in its pen outside, covered partially. You give it the last of the kitchen scraps from yesterday's meal eaten. The animal eats weakly and you wonder if it will survive the winter. Your father joins you outside and you walk toward the forest together, trudging slowly. The snow has drifted during the night, creating new obstacles to navigate around. Each step requires effort, and you feel sweat forming despite the cold. The village is quiet, with smoke rising from a few chimneys visible in the distance. Most families are staying inside, conserving energy and warmth as much as possible. Only necessary work draws people out into the brutal cold weather continuing. You pass the house where the 2 children died 2 days ago now. The family is gathered inside and you can hear sounds of grief carried on the wind. You say a silent prayer for their souls as you continue walking. The forest edge seems farther away than yesterday, though it has not moved. Your legs are tired already from fighting through the deep snow constantly. Your father walks ahead, breaking a trail for you to follow behind him. Inside the forest, the air is slightly less cold with the wind blocked partially. But the darkness between the trees feels oppressive and heavy around you both. You can hear branches creaking under the weight of snow accumulated on them. You search for fallen wood that is not completely buried under the drifts. Your father uses a long stick to probe the snow looking for branches. When he finds something, he digs it out with his hands working quickly. You work together in silence because speaking wastes energy needed for work. The only sounds are your breathing and the crunch of snow underfoot. Occasionally a branch breaks somewhere in the forest, making a sharp crack. After 2 hours, you have gathered enough wood to make the trip worthwhile completed. You bundle the branches together with rope and prepare to carry them back. The load is heavy but manageable between the 2 of you working. The walk back is harder with the weight of the wood pulling at you. Your shoulders ache and your hands are numb from gripping the rough branches, but you push forward because stopping means risking freezing in place here. Halfway back to the village, your father stops suddenly and raises his hand. You stop behind him and listen to the silence around you carefully. Then you hear it too, a low growling sound from the trees nearby. A wolf steps out from behind a snow-covered bush ahead of you both. The animal is thin and desperate, its ribs showing through the fur. Its eyes are fixed on you both as potential food for its survival. Your father slowly lowers the wood bundle to the ground without sudden movements. He reaches for the knife at his belt, keeping his eyes on the wolf. You do the same, moving as little as possible to avoid provoking attack. The wolf takes a step closer and you can see its teeth bared. Another wolf appears from the trees on the left side of the path. They are hunting together and have chosen you as their prey to take. Your father picks up a large branch from the bundle and holds it ready. You do the same, feeling your heart pounding in your chest rapidly. The wolves circle slowly, looking for an opening to attack from behind you. Your father shouts and waves the branch at the nearest wolf approaching closer. The animal backs up a step but does not run away entirely yet. The second wolf moves to your right, trying to flank you both. You shout as well and stamp your feet in the snow, making noise. The wolves pause, considering whether the fight is worth the effort required. They are hungry, but they are also cautious of being injured badly. For long moments you stand facing the wolves in the silent forest, frozen. The only sound is your heavy breathing and the low growls from the animals. Then slowly the wolves begin to back away into the trees, watching. They disappear into the shadows between the trees, still watching you leave safely. You and your father quickly grab the wood bundle and begin walking rapidly. You do not run because that might trigger their hunting instinct to chase. Your heart continues pounding until you're clear of the forest, completely emerged. Your father says nothing, but you can see his hands shaking slightly now. The encounter was closer to disaster than either of you want to admit. Back at the village, you feel relief at seeing the familiar houses again. You deliver the wood to your house and stack it near the fire. Your mother looks at your faces and knows something happened, but asks nothing. She has prepared a thin stew from the dead chicken and some frozen turnips. The smell makes your mouth water, despite knowing the portions will be small. You sit near the fire and wait for the meal to be served. The stew is divided carefully into equal portions for everyone to share fairly. Your sister eats only a few bites before pushing her bowl away weakly. Your mother tries to encourage her, but she will not eat more now. You eat your portions slowly, making it last as long as you possibly can. The warm liquid helps ease the cold that has settled into your bones. The chicken provides a little fat that your body desperately needs for warmth. After eating, your father tells your mother about the wolves encountered in the forest. She looks worried because wolves near the village mean desperation among the animals. Desperate wolves are dangerous and might attack livestock or even people here alone. The village must be warned so everyone can take extra precautions with animals. Your father will go to speak with the village elder this afternoon. Plans must be made to protect the community from this new threat appearing. You spend the afternoon repairing a hole in the chicken shed where wind blows. You stuff the gap with straw and pack it tight to block the air. The chickens need every bit of warmth you can provide to keep them alive. While working, you hear sounds from inside your house that alarm you greatly. Your mother is calling for help, and her voice sounds frightened and urgent. You drop your tools and run inside to see what has happened. Your sister is lying on her sleeping platform and is not breathing normally anymore. Her face is pale and her lips are turning blue from lack of air. Your mother is trying to wake her, but she does not respond at all. You feel panic rising, but force yourself to stay calm and think clearly. You have seen this before when your cousin died 2 winters ago similarly. The cold and sickness have taken hold of your sister's lungs completely now. Your mother holds your sister and rocks her gently, speaking soft words of comfort. But you can see that your sister is slipping away from this world. Her breathing becomes more shallow and irregular with each moment passing by. Your father returns and sees what is happening, and his face goes pale. He kneels beside your mother and places his hand on your sister's forehead. The skin is cold and clammy to the touch, indicating the end is near. You stand helplessly watching as your sister takes her last few breaths slowly. Then she is still, and the room becomes very quiet except for the fire. Your mother begins to cry softly, and your father holds her tightly against him. You feel tears on your own face, but you wipe them away quickly. There is no time for long grieving when survival demands constant attention and work. You must help prepare your sister's body for burial in the frozen ground. Your father goes to inform the village elder of another death to record officially. You and your mother wash your sister's body with cold water carefully and gently. You dress her in her best clothing, which is still worn and patched. Your mother wraps your sister in a clean linen cloth that was saved for this. She places a small wooden cross in your sister's hands folded on her chest. She says prayers over the body asking God to receive her soul mercifully. The next morning, men from the village come to help dig the grave. The ground is frozen solid and the work is extremely difficult and slow. They use picks and shovels and work in shifts to break through the earth. You help when you can, but mostly you watch as they dig deeper. The hole must be deep enough to prevent animals from disturbing the body later. The work takes most of the day to complete properly and fully done. In the afternoon, the village gathers for the burial service performed quickly outside. The priest says prayers in Latin that you do not understand at all. Your sister's body is lowered into the ground, wrapped in the cloth tightly. Everyone takes turns throwing frozen earth onto the body, filling the grave slowly. The sound of dirt hitting the cloth is final and terrible to hear. You throw your handful and step back, feeling emptiness inside your chest. Your mother stands silent with tears frozen on her face from the cold. Your father holds her as the last of the earth is placed on the grave. A simple wooden cross is placed at the head to mark the spot. The villagers return to their homes quickly because the cold is too dangerous for standing. You walk back with your parents in silence with nothing to say that helps. Another member of your family is gone and winter continues without mercy shown. That night the house feels emptier without your sister's presence there with you. Her sleeping place is bare and cold, and somehow makes everything feel colder. You lie awake thinking about her and the other deaths this winter has brought. You wonder if you will survive until spring comes again to warm the land. You wonder if your parents will survive or if you will be alone. These dark thoughts fill your mind as you lie in the darkness listening. But you push the thoughts away and focus on the present moment only. You are alive now, and you must continue fighting to stay alive tomorrow. This is all you can do, and all that matters in this frozen world. The days continue their slow progression through the depth of winter's grip tightening. Each morning is the same routine of waking and working and surviving until night. The cold never lessens, and the food supplies continue to dwindle away slowly. Your father spends more time in the forest searching for wood and food. Sometimes he finds rabbit tracks and sets snares hoping to catch one for meat. But the rabbits are scarce, and the snares usually come up empty each day. Your mother works constantly at spinning and mending and trying to keep you warm. She is thinner now, and her face shows the strain of grief and hunger. But she does not complain, and continues doing what must be done always. You take on more of the work around the house and with the animals. Your father needs your help more now that your sister is gone from the world. You do your best, but you are tired and hungry and cold constantly. One morning you wake to find that another chicken has died overnight from cold. That leaves only 3 hens alive and barely producing any eggs at all. The loss of each animal makes survival harder for the whole family unit. The pig is also very weak and you fear it will not last much longer. If the pig dies, you will lose valuable meat that could sustain you through winter. But there is nothing more you can do to keep it alive in this. The cow inside the house is the only animal doing relatively well compared to the others. She continues to give a little milk each day, though the amount decreases. Your mother makes the milk last by mixing it with water to stretch it. The village elder comes to your house one afternoon with grave news to share. 3 more families have lost children to cold and sickness this week alone already. The village is slowly dying as winter takes its toll on the weakest members. He tells your father that food supplies must be shared more carefully among families. Those with a little extra must help those with nothing at all remaining. Your father nods and agrees, though you have little extra yourselves to give. That evening your parents discuss what can be spared for other families suffering worse. They decide to give one of the 3 remaining chickens to a family with many children. You know this means even less food for you, but you understand the necessity. You take the chicken to the family's house the next morning, walking through deep snow. The mother cries with gratitude when you hand her the bird alive and warm. She blesses you and promises to remember your family's kindness shown to them. Walking back, you feel both good about helping and worried about your own survival. The balance between charity and self-preservation is difficult to maintain in such conditions. You wonder if you have done the right thing or made a mistake. Your father reassures you that helping others is what makes you human and civilized. Without compassion and community support, everyone would die alone and miserable in the cold. The village survives by working together and sharing what little there is available. The days grow slightly longer as winter begins its slow turn towards spring. But the cold remains bitter, and the snow continues to fall regularly, covering everything. Spring feels impossibly distant despite the subtle changes in the daylight hours increasing. You continue the daily routine of gathering wood and tending animals and surviving each day. Your body has adapted somewhat to the constant hunger and cold endured daily. You have learned to function with less food and warmth than you thought possible. Your hands and feet have permanent numbness in the fingers and toes from repeated exposure. The skin is cracked and sometimes bleeds, but you cannot stop working to let them heal. You wrap them in cloth and continue doing what must be done always. Your mother teaches you skills she learned from her own mother years ago before. She shows you how to make the most of every scrap of food available. She teaches you to waste nothing and to be grateful for what little you have. You learn to make soup from bones boiled multiple times, extracting every bit of nutrition. You learn to stretch grain by mixing it with ground bark from certain trees. These are survival skills passed down through generations of harsh winters endured by ancestors. Your father teaches you how to read the weather by watching the sky and feeling the wind. He shows you signs that indicate when snow will come and when it will be clear. This knowledge helps you plan the day's work more effectively and safely done. He also teaches you to track animals in the snow by reading their footprints. You learn to identify rabbit tracks from fox tracks from wolf tracks by their pattern. This skill might help you hunt successfully if the opportunity arises to try it. One day your father takes you deeper into the forest than you have gone. He shows you places where certain plants grow that can be eaten if desperate. He points out bark from trees that can be chewed for a little nutrition. He tells you these things because you must know them to survive if something happens. If he dies or cannot work, you must be able to care for yourself and your mother. This knowledge is precious and could save your life someday soon or later. You listen carefully and try to remember everything he tells you about the forest. You mark the locations of useful plants in your memory for future reference needed. This learning feels important, though you hope never to need it desperately for survival. February arrives, though you mark the months only by the moon's phases seen at night. The cold seems to deepen even further, though that seems impossible to believe or bear. The wind blows constantly from the north, carrying more snow and bitter cold always. The village loses 2 more people this month to the cold and hunger combined together. An old woman dies in her sleep and a young man dies from a fever. The deaths are noted and the bodies are buried when the ground can be broken. Your own family survives, but you are all growing weaker from the poor diet. Your father's face is gaunt and his hands shake sometimes when he works hard. Your mother coughs frequently, though she insists it is nothing to worry about much. You yourself feel tired all the time despite sleeping long hours each night. Your body is consuming itself for energy because there is not enough food coming. You can feel your ribs clearly through your skin when you touch your chest. But you continue working because stopping means dying in this relentless winter environment. You gather wood and tend animals and do repairs around the house constantly. The work keeps you moving and movement generates warmth needed for survival here. One morning you wake to find the wind has finally stopped blowing outside completely. The silence is strange and unsettling after weeks of constant howling winds heard. You look out and see the sky is clear with stars still visible. This is a gift from God, your mother says as she looks at the sky. A day without wind means you can work outside more safely and comfortably. Everyone in the village seems to feel the same hope and relief given finally. You and your father make good use of the calm day to gather more wood. You venture further into the forest than you have dared in weeks before now. The silence in the forest is profound and almost peaceful feeling to you both. You find a dead tree that has fallen and can be broken into pieces. The wood is dry and will burn well, providing good heat for cooking and warmth. You work together to break it apart and carry it back in loads made. By the end of the day, you have gathered more wood than you have in weeks. The pile beside your house is larger than it has been all winter long. This means a few days of better fires and more warmth for everyone inside. That night you burn the fire a little larger than usual to celebrate the wood gathered. The extra warmth feels wonderful, and everyone's spirits lift slightly with the improved comfort. Your mother even smiles a little, which you have not seen in weeks. You go to sleep that night feeling a small amount of hope returning inside. Perhaps the worst of winter is passing and spring will come soon after all. Perhaps you will all survive to see the warm sun and green fields. But you know better than to hope too much or too soon for relief. Winter can turn deadly again at any moment without warning given before striking. You must remain vigilant and careful until spring truly arrives and stays for good. The morning brings a change in the air that you notice immediately upon waking. The cold is still present but feels different, somehow less oppressive than before. You wonder if your senses are deceiving you from exhaustion and hunger combined. Your father also notices the change and mentions it while stoking the fire carefully. He says the air smells different like it does before the first spring thaw. Your mother nods but cautions against hoping for too much too soon now. You step outside and indeed the air feels slightly warmer on your face exposed. The wind is gentle rather than biting and comes from the south this morning. The snow has a different texture, less like powder and more like something heavier. These are small signs, but they bring a feeling of cautious optimism to you. Winter may be loosening its grip even if spring is still weeks away yet. Every day that passes is one day closer to warmth and growing things returning. You complete your morning tasks with slightly more energy than you have felt recently. The animals seem to sense the change too and move more actively than usual. Even the remaining chickens seem more alert and less huddled together tightly now. Your father decides this is a good day to check the snares set deep in the forest. He asks you to come with him to help carry anything caught overnight there. You gather your things and set out together into the trees once more walking. The forest feels less threatening today, with gentler weather around you both. Birds are singing in the trees, which you have not heard in many weeks. The sound is beautiful and fills you with a happiness almost forgotten completely. You check the first snare and find it empty as it has been before. The second snare also holds nothing, and you begin to lose hope of finding anything. But at the third snare you find a rabbit caught by the leg. The animal is dead from the cold and the stress of being trapped overnight alone. But the meat is still good and will provide valuable protein for your family. Your father removes the rabbit and resets the snare for tomorrow's checking done again. You continue checking the other snares and find one more rabbit also caught and dead. 2 rabbits are a great prize and more meat than you have had in weeks. You both feel genuine excitement at this good fortune given to you today here. The walk back to the village is faster despite carrying the rabbits with you. You both are eager to bring this food home to share with your mother. She will be able to make a proper stew that will nourish you all. At home, your mother's face lights up when she sees the rabbits you carry. She immediately begins preparing them for cooking, skinning them with practice movements done. The skins will be dried and used for patching clothing or making things kneaded. She puts the meat in a pot with water and the last of the turnips. She adds some dried herbs saved from last summer to flavour the stew cooking. The smell that fills the house is wonderful and makes your stomach growl loudly. While the stew cooks, you help your father with other tasks around the house completed. You repair the chicken shed door that has been hanging loose for days now. You add fresh straw to the cow's area to keep her comfortable and warm. The pig in its pen outside is still alive but very weak and thin. You give it some of the rabbit innards that your mother saved for this. The animal eats slowly, but at least it is eating something provided to it. At midday the stew is ready and your mother serves it into wooden bowls carefully. The portions are larger than usual because there is actually enough food for once. You eat slowly, savouring every bite of the rich meat and broth combined. The warmth of the stew spreads through your body and you feel strength returning. Your mother also eats well and some colour returns to her pale cheeks. Your father eats his portion and then has a little more from what remains. After the meal, you all sit by the fire feeling more satisfied than you have in months. The combination of better weather and good food lifts everyone's spirits noticeably higher now. You allow yourself to feel a small amount of hope for the future coming. Your father suggests that tomorrow you should check the ice on the stream nearby. If it is beginning to thin, that means water will be easier to access soon. Fresh flowing water is better than melted snow for drinking and cooking used daily. That night you sleep more deeply than you have in a long while resting. Your stomach is full and your body is warmer from the good meal eaten. Your dreams are peaceful and filled with images of spring and growing things. The next morning you wake to the sound of water dripping from the roof. The snow on the thatch is beginning to melt in the warmer air temperature. This is another sign that winter is truly beginning to release its hold. You dress quickly and go outside to see the changes happening around you. Icicles hang from the roof edge and drip steadily onto the snow below. The dripping creates small holes in the snow where water pools and freezes. The path to the animal shed is muddy rather than frozen solid underfoot now. Your boots sink slightly into the soft ground with each step taken carefully. This makes walking messier, but it means the ground is thawing underneath finally. You check the animals and find them all still alive this morning, gratefully observed. The chickens are moving around their shed more actively than they have been. One hen is sitting on the nesting box as if preparing to lay. You reach under her carefully and feel the warmth of a fresh egg there. It is the first egg in weeks, and you hold it gently like precious treasure. You take it inside to show your mother, who smiles at the small miracle. One egg is not much, but it represents hope and the returning of normal life. Your mother cooks it and divides it among the 3 of you equally shared. The taste is rich and wonderful after so long without eggs eaten. Your father returns from checking the stream and reports the ice is thinning rapidly. In a few days it will break up and the water will flow freely. This means you can fetch fresh water instead of melting snow constantly done. The village seems more alive today, with people venturing outside more frequently than before. You see neighbours you have not seen in weeks emerging from their houses slowly. Everyone looks thin and worn but alive, and that is what matters most. The village elder calls a meeting in the afternoon to discuss the coming spring. Everyone gathers in the church because it is the largest building available for meeting. The priest says prayers of thanksgiving for surviving another brutal winter endured together. The elder speaks about plans for planting when the ground thaws completely soon. Seeds must be prepared and tools must be repaired before the work begins. Everyone must contribute to the planting or the village will not eat next winter. Families are assigned fields to work based on their size and capabilities shown before. Your family receives a strip of land near the eastern boundary to cultivate yearly. It is good land, and you will work hard to make it produce well. After the meeting, people talk together, sharing news and information about the winter past. You learn that your village lost 15 people this winter to cold and sickness. This is more than usual, but not the worst winter anyone can remember here. Other villages nearby lost even more people according to travellers passing through the area. Some smaller villages lost so many that they may not survive as communities. The survivors will have to join with other villages to continue living together. You feel grateful that your family survived even with the loss of your sister. You know that many families lost more members and face uncertain futures ahead. The community will need to help each other to recover and prepare properly. Walking home, you notice more signs of spring approaching in the environment around. The snow is visibly shrinking and patches of brown earth are showing through. The trees still look dead, but you know buds are forming on branches. That evening, your mother starts sorting through the seeds saved from last harvest carefully. She checks each one to make sure they are still good and not mouldy. The seeds represent the future and must be protected until planting time arrives. Your father sharpens the plough blade that will be needed for breaking the soil. The metal is rusty from sitting unused all winter in storage kept dry. He works oil into the rust, removing it slowly and patiently done right. You help prepare other tools needed for the spring planting work coming soon. Hoes and rakes and spades are checked and repaired as needed for using. Wooden handles are tightened and new ones are carved from wood gathered earlier. The work of preparing for spring takes many days of steady effort made consistently, but it feels good to be working toward the future rather than just surviving. The change in mindset brings energy and hope to everyone working together here. The weather continues to improve gradually with each day that passes forward now. The temperature rises slightly, and the sun appears more often through the clouds. Rain begins to fall instead of snow washing away the remaining drifts. The rain is cold, but it is still better than snow falling continuously down. It washes the world clean and reveals the earth beneath the white covering. The sound of running water becomes common as streams swell with snowmelt flowing. One morning you wake to hear birds singing loudly outside the house clearly. You look out and see a robin sitting on a branch near the window. The bird's red breast is bright and cheerful against the brown background scene. Your mother says the robin is a sign that spring has truly arrived now. The birds return when they know the worst of winter is past gone. You watch the robin hop along the branch searching for insects to eat. More birds appear over the following days as they return from their southern migrations. Sparrows and finches and crows fill the air with their calls and songs. The sound is joyful and brings smiles to faces that have been solemn. The ice on the stream finally breaks with a loud crack heard throughout the village. The water flows freely, carrying chunks of ice downstream toward the river beyond. You can now fetch fresh water easily without the labour of melting snow. The taste of the fresh stream water is clean and pure and wonderful drinking. It is so much better than the flat taste of melted snow consumed all winter. You drink deeply and feel refreshed and renewed by the simple pleasure given. Your father announces that ploughing will begin in 1 week when the ground is ready. The soil must dry out enough to be worked without becoming muddy and manageable. Everyone in the village prepares for the intense work period ahead coming soon. The remaining pig has survived the winter, though it is very thin and weak. Your father says it will recover once there is grass to eat and better scraps. The animal represents food for next winter and must be cared for well now. The cow has also survived and is beginning to give more milk each day. Your mother makes cheese from the extra milk to preserve it for later use. The cheese is simple but nutritious and will supplement your diet through the year. The chickens begin laying eggs more regularly as the weather warms and daylight increases. You collect 2 or 3 eggs most mornings, which feels like abundance after months. Your mother uses them carefully in cooking to make the food more nourishing. The village slowly comes back to life as people emerge from their winter survival. Children who were kept inside now play outside in the mud and puddles. Their laughter sounds strange after the long silence of winter maintained by cold. You see people you thought might not survive appearing at their doors looking weak. But they are alive, and that is cause for celebration and gratitude expressed together. The community has survived another winter and will continue forward into spring. The priest holds a special service to remember those who died during the winter. The names are read aloud, including your sister's name among them spoken clearly. You bow your head and say a prayer for her soul and all the others. After the service, there is a small gathering where people share what little food they have. It is a tradition to celebrate survival with a communal meal shared together. The food is simple, but the fellowship is meaningful and important here. You eat bread and cheese and a little dried meat with your neighbours gathered close. People talk about their plans for planting and their hopes for a good harvest. The mood is cautiously optimistic as spring brings renewed hope to everyone present. Walking home that evening, you feel the warmth of the sun on your face. The days are growing longer, and the sun is climbing higher in the sky. Winter is truly ending, and summer will eventually come, bringing warmth and abundance hoped for. Your father points out the first green shoots appearing in a protected corner area. The grass is beginning to grow again, reaching toward the light above it. This simple sight brings tears to your eyes from the beauty and promise. At home, your mother has opened the door to let fresh air flow through. The house has smelled of smoke and bodies all winter long confined together. The fresh air is cleansing and removes the staleness that accumulated over months. You help her clean the house thoroughly, removing dirt and debris from the winter. The straw on the sleeping platforms is replaced with fresh straw gathered from storage. The old straw is taken outside to rot into fertilizer for fields needed. The walls are checked for damage from the winter weather and repaired where needed. Your father replaces sections of daub that have fallen away, exposing the wattle beneath. The work is familiar and satisfying to complete, properly done right here. The roof thatch is also inspected for damage from snow and ice, weight carried. A few areas need new thatch woven in to prevent leaks when rain comes. You help gather reeds from the stream bank to use for this repair. These tasks keep you busy for several days as the weather continues improving steadily. Each day brings more warmth and more signs of life returning to the land. You can feel your body growing stronger with better food and warmer conditions. The day for ploughing finally arrives and the entire village gathers at the fields. The men guide the oxen pulling the ploughs through the heavy wet soil. The women and children follow behind, breaking up clods and removing rocks found. The work is hard, but everyone is eager to begin the planting season. The smell of fresh-turned earth is wonderful after months of only smelling snow and smoke. The soil is dark and rich and ready to receive seeds planted. You work alongside your father, guiding the plough straight through the field assigned to you. The ox strains against the weight of the plough, cutting through earth, resisting. Your muscles ache, but you keep working steadily throughout the day, passing. By evening, your field is ploughed and ready for planting to begin soon next. You return home exhausted but satisfied with the work accomplished together as family. Your mother has prepared a simple meal that tastes wonderful after physical labour. That night you fall asleep immediately from exhaustion earned through honest work done. Your dreams are of green fields and golden grain and harvest time coming. The dreams are pleasant and restful, carrying you through the night, peacefully sleeping. The next days are spent planting seeds in the prepared fields carefully done. You walk along the furrows, dropping seeds at regular intervals measured by eye. Your mother follows behind, covering the seeds with soil using her feet. The work is repetitive but meditative, and you find peace in the simple rhythm. Each seed planted is a hope for food next winter, when cold returns. You plant with care, knowing your survival depends on these seeds growing well. Other families work their fields nearby, and you can hear them talking and singing. The atmosphere is hopeful and communal as everyone works toward the same goal. The village must eat, and therefore everyone must plant and tend and harvest together. After a week, the planting is complete, and now comes the waiting period for growth. You must water the fields if rain does not come regularly enough for crops. You must watch for pests and weeds that will try to steal nutrients. But for now, you rest and recover from the intensive work of ploughing and planting. Your body aches, but it is a good ache from useful labour performed well. You feel accomplished and hopeful for the first time in many months past. The spring continues to unfold, bringing more warmth and life to the world around. Flowers begin to bloom in the meadows beyond the fields planted with crops. The colours are vibrant and beautiful after the monochrome winter landscape endured so long. You spend a day gathering wild greens that grow in the forest and meadows. These fresh plants provide vitamins your body has been missing all winter long suffered. Your mother cooks them with a little fat, and they taste wonderful eating. The improvement in diet shows quickly, and everyone's health and energy levels rising. Your father's hand stops shaking and his face fills out a little bit noticeably. Your mother's cough disappears and she moves with more energy than before shown. You yourself feel stronger and more alive than you have in months passing. Your clothes are looser because you lost weight during winter, but you are recovering. The spring is healing you, and the village in ways both physical and spiritual. One evening, you sit outside watching the sunset paint the sky in colours beautiful. Your parents join you, and you sit together in comfortable silence, appreciating the moment. The air is warm and birds are singing, and you are alive together. Your father speaks quietly about your sister and how she would have loved this. Your mother nods and wipes tears from her eyes, remembering her child lost forever. You all mourn together, but also celebrate that you survived to see spring. Life will continue and new children will be born to replace those lost sadly. The cycle of life and death continues regardless of individual tragedies experienced along the way. This is the way of the world, and you must accept it. But tonight you simply enjoy the warmth and the beauty and the peace surrounding. Winter is over and you survived, and that is enough for now here. Tomorrow will bring new work and new challenges, but tonight you rest content. The warmth of late spring settles over the village like a blessing given. The days grow longer and the sun climbs higher in the sky overhead. The fields you planted now show rows of green shoots pushing through the earth. You walk through the field each morning, checking the progress of the crops growing. The sight of new life emerging fills you with quiet satisfaction and hope. Each plant represents food for next winter and survival for your family continuing. The work shifts from planting to tending the growing crops carefully each day. You walk between the rows, pulling weeds that compete for nutrients and water. Your back aches from bending, but the work must be done regularly always. Your mother works beside you, moving slowly but steadily through the rows assigned. She hums old songs while she works, creating a peaceful rhythm to the labour. You find comfort in her presence and the familiar melodies sung quietly. The village has settled into the routines of spring and early summer approaching. Children run through the fields playing games and laughing loudly without constraint felt. Their energy and joy are infectious, spreading to everyone who sees them playing. The animals are thriving now with fresh grass to eat and warmer weather. The cow gives more milk than your family can use and you trade the extra. The chickens lay eggs daily and their numbers are increasing from chicks hatched. The pig has recovered its health and is growing fat on kitchen scraps and forage. Your father says it will be ready for slaughter in the autumn before winter. The meat will be preserved with salt to last through the cold months. The forest is green and full of life that was absent during winter. You go there often to gather mushrooms and herbs and firewood for cooking needs. The work is pleasant now without the bitter cold and deep snow blocking. One day, while in the forest, you discover a bee tree with honey inside. You carefully take some of the honey, leaving enough for the bees themselves. The sweet taste is wonderful after months without any sugar at all consumed. Your mother uses the honey sparingly to sweeten porridge on special occasions only rarely. The treat brings smiles to everyone's faces and reminds you of better times remembered. Small pleasures mean everything after the hardship of winter endured together here. The stream is full of fish now that have returned with the warming water. Your father teaches you how to catch them with a spear made from wood. You practice for days before successfully catching your first fish, landed triumphantly shown. The fish provides fresh meat that is different from the preserved meat eaten before. Your mother cooks it simply with herbs and everyone enjoys the meal shared. Fresh food tastes so much better than anything dried or salted for storage. The village celebrates midsummer with a small festival held in the square together. There is music and dancing and more food than you have seen in months. Everyone contributes what they can spare, creating a feast for the community sharing. You dance with other young people your age and feel joy you had forgotten. The music is simple, but the rhythm moves through your body like life itself. You laugh and spin and forget about death and cold and hunger temporarily. The priest blesses the fields and prays for a good harvest to come. Everyone bows their heads and adds their own prayers for abundance and health. The ceremony feels important, connecting the village to something larger than themselves alone. After the festival, life returns to the normal routine of work and survival. But the memory of the celebration stays with you, bringing lightness to the labour. You work with more energy, knowing that community and joy still exist here. The crops continue to grow tall and strong under the summer sun shining. You water them when rain does not come frequently enough for their needs. The work is constant, but you can see the results of your efforts. By late summer, the grain is beginning to turn golden in the fields. Your father inspects it daily, judging when it will be ready for harvest soon. The timing is crucial because harvesting too early or too late affects quality produced. The village prepares for harvest, which will require everyone working together for weeks. Tools are sharpened and repaired, and baskets are woven for carrying grain collected. The anticipation builds as the harvest time approaches, steadily coming forward now. Finally, your father declares the grain is ready and harvest begins at dawn. Everyone in the village goes to the fields with sickles and scythes ready. The work is hard and hot under the summer sun beating down. You cut the grain stalks and bind them into sheaves tied with straw. The sheaves are stood upright in the field to dry before threshing begins. Your hands are cut from the sharp grain stalks, but you continue working. The women and children follow behind, gathering any grain that falls to ground. Nothing can be wasted because every kernel represents food for the winter ahead. Even the straw is collected for animal bedding and other uses needed. The harvest takes 2 weeks of intense labour from everyone in the village. You work from sunrise to sunset with only brief breaks for eating food. Your body aches and your hands bleed, but you push through the exhaustion. At night you collapse onto your sleeping platform and fall asleep immediately from tiredness. But you wake each morning and return to the fields to continue working. The harvest must be completed before rain comes and ruins the grain standing. Finally, the last field is cut and the grain is brought to the threshing floor. Here the sheaves are beaten to separate the grain from the chaff and straw. The work continues with everyone taking turns beating and separating the grain collected. The pile of grain grows larger as the threshing progresses through the days passing. You can see that the harvest is good, better than last year's poor yield. This means more food for everyone and better chances of surviving next winter. When the threshing is complete, the grain is measured and divided among the families. Each family receives a portion based on the land they worked and their needs. Your family's share is fair and will feed you through the winter coming. The grain is stored in sealed containers to protect it from mice and moisture. Your mother carefully rations it, knowing exactly how much you will need each week. This careful management will determine whether you survive or starve next winter ahead. The village celebrates the successful harvest with another feast held together communally shared. This one is larger than midsummer because there is actually food to share now. Everyone contributes dishes made from the fresh harvest and preserved food stored earlier. You eat until your stomach is full for the first time in memory. The feeling is strange and wonderful, and you savour every moment of it. Your parents also eat well, and their faces show relief and happiness rarely. The priest gives thanks to God for the harvest and for sparing the village. He reminds everyone to save enough food for the winter and help neighbours. The community must stay strong and united to survive the hardships that will come. After harvest, the pace of work slows slightly but does not stop completely. There are still animals to tend and repairs to make before winter arrives. The cycle continues without end, but with brief moments of rest between tasks. You help your father prepare the house for the coming winter approaching again. Wood is gathered and stacked higher than last year if possible to achieve. You remember the wolves and the cold, and you work harder preparing carefully. The vegetables planted in the garden are harvested and preserved by various methods. Some are dried and some are stored in the root cellar dug deep. Your mother works constantly preserving everything possible for the months ahead coming soon. Apples from the small orchard are picked and stored in straw for keeping. Some are dried and some are made into preserves with the last honey available. Each apple represents vitamins that will be needed in the dark winter months. The pig is slaughtered and butchered with great care, taken to use everything. The meat is salted and smoked and stored in the cool cellar below ground. The fat is rendered for cooking and the skin is saved for leather. Nothing is wasted because everything has value and survival is uncertain, always in question. You learn to appreciate every resource and use it wisely and carefully planned. This mindset will serve you well throughout your life, continuing forward here. The autumn colours appear in the trees, transforming the world into golden red. The beauty is breathtaking, but also signals that winter is approaching steadily closer now. You feel both appreciation for the beauty and anxiety about the cold coming. The first frost comes one morning, coating everything in white crystalline beauty shown. The tender plants die immediately, but the hardy ones survive the cold touch. You know this is just the beginning of many frosts to come soon. The days grow shorter, and the sun's warmth weakens as it moves south. You notice the change and feel the old familiar dread returning inside you. But this year you're better prepared with more food and wood stored. The animals are brought closer to the house for protection from cold weather. Extra straw is piled in their shelters to keep them warm through nights. You check on them more frequently, ensuring they have everything they need always. The village begins the slow transition into winter mode of survival once more. People venture outside less frequently and conserve energy for essential tasks only needed. The communal spirit remains, but interactions become less frequent as cold increases steadily. Your family gathers in the evenings around the fire, sharing stories and memories. Your father tells tales of previous winters, both hard and easy ones survived. Your mother shares wisdom about managing resources and staying warm in cold conditions. You listen and learn and add these lessons to the knowledge you have gained. Each winter teaches something new about survival and adaptation to harsh conditions endured. You're becoming stronger and wiser with each season that passes through time. The first snow falls in early November, covering the world in white again. But this year you watch it without the same fear you felt before. You know what to expect and you are prepared as well as possible. The snow is beautiful in its own way, transforming the familiar landscape completely. You allow yourself to appreciate the beauty while also respecting the danger it represents. This balance of appreciation and caution will help you survive the months ahead. The days settle into the winter routine you remember from last year clearly. Wake in darkness, tend the fire, work constantly, eat sparingly, sleep fitfully, repeating daily. But this year feels different because you have hope and knowledge gained previously. The food stores are better, and you have learned how to stretch them. The woodpile is larger and the house is better sealed against drafts. These small improvements make a significant difference in comfort, and survival chances increased. Your mother seems stronger this year without the burden of nursing your sister. The grief is still there, but she has accepted it and moved forward. She works efficiently and manages the household with quiet competence, shown always daily. Your father is also in better health, having learned from last winter's mistakes. He paces himself better and does not exhaust himself as he did before. He has accepted his limitations and works within them more wisely now done. You yourself feel more capable and confident in your abilities to survive. You know what to do and when to do it without constant guidance. You've become a valuable contributing member of the family unit functioning together. The winter progresses with its usual challenges of cold and hunger and darkness. But you face each day with determination and the knowledge that spring will come. The memory of last spring's warmth and beauty sustains you through the hardship. The village loses fewer people this winter than the last one endured together. The preparations were better, and the harvest was good, providing more food available. The community learned from the previous winter and adapted accordingly to survive better. You help your neighbours when you can spare anything at all to give. A handful of grain here or some firewood there makes a difference for families. The connections you build now will help everyone survive future winters coming eventually. The wolves return to the forest, but the village is prepared this time. Guards are posted and animals are protected better than before last winter. The wolves find easier prey elsewhere and leave the village alone, mostly undisturbed. The coldest part of winter comes in January when the world seems frozen. The cold is intense, but your family stays warm enough with the preparations made. You gather close to the fire and support each other through it. February brings the first hints that winter might eventually end, someday soon coming. The days grow imperceptibly longer, and the sun feels slightly warmer on your face. These small changes give you hope and energy to continue forward always. By March, the signs of spring are unmistakable in the world around you. Birds begin returning and the ice on the stream starts thinning away slowly. You've survived another winter, and this time with less loss endured together. The village emerges from winter stronger than it entered, having learned and adapted. The community bonds are deeper and the collective knowledge is greater than before. You are all survivors, and this shared experience connects you forever bound. You stand outside one morning and feel genuine warmth from the sun above. The snow is melting and you can see brown earth emerging beneath it. Spring is returning, and with it comes hope and renewal and life continuing. You think about your sister and wish she could see this spring arriving, but you know she is at peace and you must continue living fully. Her memory drives you to appreciate each day and each season as it comes. Your father joins you outside and puts his hand on your shoulder firmly. He does not speak, but you understand what he means by the gesture. You have both survived and grown stronger through the trials endured together here. Your mother calls from inside that breakfast is ready to be eaten now. You turn and walk back into the house feeling grateful for the warmth and safety. This is your life in a medieval village, surviving winter's harsh and unforgiving always. But you have learned that survival is possible with preparation and community support. You have learned that spring always follows winter no matter how long it lasts. And you have learned that you are stronger than you ever knew possible. The cycle continues with spring leading to summer, then autumn, then winter again. Each season brings its own challenges and its own gifts to be received. You face them all with the knowledge that you can survive and even thrive. This is the rhythm of life in the medieval countryside, enduring forever onward. Hard work and careful planning and community support make survival possible for all. And somewhere deep inside you there is gratitude for the life you have. You are alive and you have learned to appreciate that simple fact completely. The winter did not defeat you, and the next one will not either. You will continue to survive and to help others survive beside you always. This is your story and the story of countless others like you throughout history. People who faced impossible odds and survived through determination and cooperation shown together. Their legacy lives in you and in the lessons learned through hardship. The sun rises higher in the sky and the world grows warmer daily. Spring has truly arrived, and with it the promise of abundance and growth. You smile and turn your face to the sun, feeling its warmth blessing you. The spring unfolds around you with a vibrancy you never truly noticed before. The fields are green with new growth reaching toward the sky eagerly. The air smells of earth and rain and growing things alive once more. You work in the fields with a sense of purpose renewed by survival. Each seed you plant feels like an act of defiance against the cold. Each row you tend is a promise that you will see another harvest. Your father works beside you, moving more slowly than he once did. The winters have taken their toll on his body over the years past. But his spirit remains strong and he teaches you constantly with every action. He shows you how to read the soil by feeling it in your hands. He teaches you which plants grow best in which parts of the field. This knowledge is precious and you absorb it like the earth absorbs rain. Your mother tends the garden near the house with vegetables and herbs growing. She knows which plants heal and which plants nourish the body best. She passes this wisdom to you in quiet moments between tasks done. The village has developed a rhythm that feels more stable than before experienced. The harsh winter taught lessons that everyone has taken to heart deeply. Food is stored more carefully, and wood is gathered earlier in the year. Neighbours help each other more readily than they did in previous times. The shared suffering created bonds that endure beyond the winter's ending completely. You're all connected by the experience of survival together here achieved. The priest speaks more often about community and caring for the weakest members. His sermons emphasize that the village survives only when everyone helps each other. You see this truth demonstrated daily in small acts of kindness shown. A new family arrives in the village seeking a place to settle permanently. They lost everything in another village destroyed by fire last autumn before winter. The village elder assigns them land and the community helps them build shelter. You contribute labour to raising their house from the ground up carefully. Other families donate tools and seeds and animals to help them start again. This generosity ensures that the new family will survive their first winter here. The new family has 2 young children who quickly make friends with others. Their laughter brings joy to the village and reminds everyone why survival matters. The children represent the future and hope for better times coming forward. Summer arrives with its long days and warm nights under clear skies. You work hard, but the work feels lighter without the threat of winter. The crops grow tall and strong, promising a good harvest to come soon. You spend a day fishing in the stream with other young people gathered. The water is cool and refreshing on your skin, heated from the sun. You catch several fish and share them with the group for cooking together. That evening you sit around a fire eating fish and talking quietly together. Someone plays a wooden flute and others sing old songs remembered from childhood. The moment feels perfect and you try to memorize every detail completely. A girl from the new family sits near you and smiles when you look. Her name is Anna, and she is close to your age, exactly measured. You feel something stir in your chest that you have not felt before. Over the following weeks, you find reasons to be near where she works. You help her family with tasks and she thanks you with smiles given. Your mother notices and says nothing, but her eyes show knowing and approval. One evening you walk with Anna along the stream in the fading light. You talk about the winter and the hardships both your families endured separately. She understands in a way others cannot because she has lived it. She tells you about losing their home and travelling through snow to safety. Her voice is quiet but steady as she describes the journey made dangerously. You listen and feel deep respect for her strength and resilience shown clearly. You tell her about your sister and the grief that still sits heavy. She reaches out and takes your hand gently in hers without words spoken. The gesture says everything that needs to be said between you both here. From that day forward you are inseparable whenever work allows time together. Your parents and hers notice and approve of the growing connection formed naturally. In this harsh world, finding someone who understands is rare and precious. The harvest comes again, and this year it is even better than last. The grain is thick and golden, and the yield exceeds expectations set earlier. The village celebrates with genuine joy knowing everyone will eat well this winter. You work beside Anna during the harvest, helping her family gather their crops. She works as hard as any man and never complains about the labour. You admire her strength and determination shown in everything she does daily. After the harvest, your father speaks to you about the future coming ahead. He says he is getting old and will need help managing the farm. He asks if you have thought about marriage and starting your own family. You tell him about Anna and your feelings for her, expressed honestly, openly. He nods and says he approves of the match if her family agrees. He will speak to her father about arrangements that can be made properly. The negotiations are brief because both families see the benefit of the union. Anna's family needs connection to the community and you need help on the farm. But more than practical concerns, there is genuine affection between you both. The wedding is planned for after the autumn work is completed, fully done. It will be a simple ceremony but meaningful to all who attend gathered. The whole village will celebrate because weddings mean hope and continuity for everyone. You work through the autumn preparing a room in your house for Anna. Your father helps you build a proper bed frame and your mother weaves new blankets. The preparations fill you with excitement and nervous anticipation of the future. Anna and her mother prepare her dowry of linens and household goods contributed. She also brings skills in weaving and preserving food that will help your household. The practical aspects matter, but so does the partnership you will share together. The wedding day arrives with clear skies and gentle warmth remaining from summer. The ceremony is held in the church with the priest officiating before God. Anna wears a simple dress, but to you she looks more beautiful than anything. You speak the vows that bind you together for life before God and community. Anna's voice is steady and clear as she promises to honour and cherish you. You promise the same feeling, the weight and joy of the commitment made. After the ceremony, there is a feast with food and drink and dancing enjoyed. The village celebrates with you, sharing in the happiness of the occasion fully. You dance with Anna and feel like the luckiest person in the world. That night, Anna comes to live in your house as your wife legally joined. The adjustment is strange at first, with someone new sharing your space always, but Anna fits into the household naturally, and your parents welcome her warmly. Your mother teaches Anna the specific ways of your household's routines and preferences. Anna learns quickly and adds her own knowledge to improve things done better. The two women work together well, creating a harmonious home environment established. You work with your father during the day, preparing for the coming winter ahead. Anna works with your mother, preserving food and preparing the house for cold weather. The four of you function as a strong unit, ready to face challenges. The first snow comes earlier than expected in late October, falling heavily overnight. You wake beside Anna and feel grateful for her warmth beside you shared. Together you face the window, watching the snow fall steadily down outside. The winter that follows is hard, but not as hard as previous ones. You have Anna beside you, and her presence makes everything more bearable endured. You talk together in the evenings, sharing thoughts and dreams and fears, honestly. Anna becomes pregnant in the deep of winter, and everyone is overjoyed at the news. A baby represents hope and the future of your family continuing forward generationally. Your mother fusses over Anna, ensuring she eats enough and rests properly. The pregnancy progresses through the winter months, slowly passing by one. Anna remains healthy and strong, working as much as she can manage safely. You worry constantly, but she assures you that all is well proceeding. Spring arrives again, bringing warmth and the promise of new life everywhere around. Anna's belly is large now and the baby will come soon, the midwife says. You prepare as best you can for the birth that approaches steadily forward. One morning in early April, Anna's labour begins with pains coming regularly timed. Your mother and the village midwife attend her while you wait outside pacing. The hours pass slowly with you praying for Anna's safety and the baby's. Finally, you hear the cry of a newborn baby, strong and healthy sounding. The midwife emerges and tells you that you have a son born alive. Anna is tired but well, and asking for you to come inside now. You enter and see Anna holding a tiny bundle wrapped in clean linen carefully. She smiles at you and pulls back the cloth to show your son's face. The baby is perfect and beautiful, and you feel overwhelming love instantly born. Your parents crowd around looking at their grandson with joy and pride showing. Your father places his hand on your shoulder and says the family line continues. Your mother cries happy tears and blesses the baby with prayers spoken. The baby is christened in the church and named after your father as tradition. The priest blesses him and welcomes him into the Christian community gathered here. The village celebrates with you because every new life brings hope to all. You watch Anna nurse the baby and feel gratitude beyond words can express. She has given you a son and created a family where there was none. Your life has meaning and purpose beyond simple survival achieved before this moment. The days pass with the rhythms of caring for a newborn baby needing constant attention. Anna is tired but happy with the role of motherhood embraced fully here. You help when you can between the work of farming that continues always. Your son grows quickly, becoming stronger and more alert with each day passing. He recognizes your face and smiles when you hold him close to you. These moments are precious and you treasure them knowing how fleeting they are. The summer brings good weather and the crops grow well once again produced. You work hard knowing that you now have a son to provide for. The responsibility drives you to work harder and plan more carefully always. Anna recovers her strength and returns to working alongside your mother daily done. She carries the baby in a sling while working, allowing him to nurse. The women's work continues regardless of the new addition to the household present. The harvest comes and is abundant, providing more food than you need stored. You are able to trade surplus grain for other goods needed by your household. This prosperity feels strange after years of scarcity and struggle endured previously. Your father grows weaker as the autumn progresses toward winter coming again soon. He works less and rests more, acknowledging his declining strength openly now. You take on more of the farm management with his guidance still provided. One evening he calls you to sit with him by the fire burning warmly. He tells you that he is proud of the man you have become. He says he can rest easy knowing the farm is in good hands. You thank him for everything he has taught you through the years together. You promise to care for your mother and to raise your son well. He nods and seems content with your words spoken honestly from the heart. The winter comes again, but this time you face it with a family of your own. Anna and your son give you reasons to endure beyond simple survival instinct alone. You work hard to keep them safe and warm and fed through cold. Your father dies peacefully in his sleep during the coldest part of January passing. You find him in the morning still and cold, but with a peaceful expression. Your mother grieves, but she knew this day was coming, soon approaching inevitably. The village gathers for the burial service held in frozen ground dug with difficulty. The priest speaks of your father's good life and his place in heaven. You stand with your arm around your mother, while Anna holds your son. Life continues after death, as it always must for those remaining alive here. You are now the head of the household with all the responsibilities that entails. You accept this role and work to honor your father's memory through your actions. Your mother remains strong and helps with the baby while you work outside farming. Anna manages the household with quiet efficiency learned from watching your mother before. The three of you work together to keep the family functioning well always. Spring comes again, bringing renewal and the promise of another year beginning fresh. You plant the fields with your son in a sling on your back. He watches everything with wide eyes, learning the world around him, constantly observed. You tell him about his grandfather as you work in the fields together here. You promise to teach him everything your father taught you in time coming. He does not understand yet, but someday he will remember these moments shared. The cycle continues with each season, bringing its work and its gifts received. You have learned to appreciate each day and each moment of peace found briefly. Life is hard, but it is also beautiful in ways you never saw before. You've survived winters that killed others and emerged stronger for the experience. You've found love and created a family in the midst of hardship. You've learned that resilience and hope are choices made daily, consciously chosen. As you work in the fields under the warm sun shining down brightly, you think about the journey that brought you to this moment standing here. From the terrified child facing the first brutal winter to the man you are. You've lost much, but you have also gained more than you expected. You have a wife who loves you and a son who depends on you. You have skills and knowledge and a place in the community respected earned. The future is uncertain as it always is in this harsh world existing. Another winter will come and another after that, continuing forward, endlessly repeating always. But you will face them with the strength gained from surviving all before. You are a peasant farmer in a medieval village surviving against odds faced. Your life is hard and often brutal with little comfort or ease. But it is your life, and you have learned to find meaning within. You work the land that sustained your father and his father before him. You pass on knowledge to your son who will work this same land. This continuity connects you to the past and to the future, eternally linked. The sun begins to set, painting the sky in colours of gold and red. You finish your work and walk back to the house where Anna waits. Your son is playing in the dirt outside and runs to greet you. You pick him up and hold him close, feeling his small heart beating steady. Anna smiles from the doorway, and you walk toward her, toward home, awaiting. This is your life, and despite everything, you are grateful for it. You survive the freezing winters and the hunger and the death surrounding you. You learn to endure and to hope and to find joy in small things. You built a life worth living in a world that tried to break you. As darkness falls, you sit with your family around the fire burning warmly. Anna nurses the baby while you tell stories of your father remembered fondly. The flames dance and the room is warm and you are together here. Tomorrow will bring more work and more challenges to face as always continuing. But tonight you rest in the warmth and love of your family gathered. You have survived and you will continue to survive whatever comes next. This is the story of survival in the medieval winter experienced completely lived. This is the story of one family among many who endured and persisted forward. This is your story and it matters because you lived it fully embraced. The fire burns low and sleep beckons, calling you to rest earned through labour. You lie down beside Anna with your son between you both, sleeping peacefully, breathing. Tomorrow the cycle begins again, but tonight you rest in peace found finally. Good night.